If we take attention to be a form of beauty, that opens up different ways of seeing aspects of artworks. So, for example, surprise is a form of catching your attention. You can just catch somebody's attention by yelling or doing something that's very novel and it pulls their attention. It may not hold their attention for very long, but it catches their attention. And this brings to mind something like spoilers, for example. So, if something is spoiled, then it is no longer surprising. And then when you watch it, it doesn't like catch your attention in that way. So, to have something spoiled is to remove that element of surprise. However, of course, well, I don't know about of course, but this to me, surprise is just it's a cheap way of catching somebody's attention, and it is not much of an indication of anything. Like I just said, you can just yell at somebody and get their attention, and that would be very surprising. But there are other forms of attention where you can catch somebody's attention and you can hold their attention for a long period of time. You can do that with something that's not novel. You can do that with something that's not just unique and shocking or whatever. So essentially, you can watch something that has been spoiled, and it still catches your attention and it's still interesting. Obviously, there are movies out there, or there's other arts out there that you can watch or appreciate multiple times. Like I can listen to the same song multiple times and still like it, even though I'm not surprised, even though I don't have the shocking element to it, even though it's already been spoiled because I've heard it before or I've seen it before. So you have this type of attention that you have a type of art that can catch your attention in this way that is spoilable, in this way that's just surprising, and then you have other ways. And then once your attention is caught, like there are different ways of catching people's attention, and there are some forms of attention that can be it can be so strong that it stops other psychological functions, right? If you have the sense of awe, I'm just gonna one form of the sense of awe is that it catches your attention, holds your attention, and it doesn't allow you to move your attention. And it can happen in such a way that you know that you're not able to change your attention. Like you're paying so much attention to something, and you're locked in, but you want to do something else, but you can't do anything else. Like you're noticing that the other processes are not possible. Just like a kind of a simple sense of this, like if you're just looking in the quintessential sense of looking out into the universe and you're like, oh, it's so vast, it's so big, oh my god, the universe is so huge. And it's like I can't even imagine how big it is. I can't even do the calculation. I'm not able to do math. My psychological processing for doing math is stopped. Like my attention is on the sky and I can't process other things. And is a form of that's a form of pulling your attention, stopping other processes. That is awe. I'm going to call it awe. Of course, it can be a bit for some people. Sometimes it can be a bit frightening because if you want to do something, like if your attention is pulled to something, you want to do something else, but you realize that you can't do those other things. There's something weird about that. It's like sleep paralysis, right? You're like in bed sleeping, but you feel like you're awake and you want to move, but you can't move. Like that function is stopped. That same thing happens with some art or some, beautiful experiences. You catches your attention. You want to move your attention, but you can't, and you realize that you can't, and it's this weird, shocking. I don't know. It's just this weird feeling that can be, I don't know, it's pleasant, it's unpleasant. You can't even process how pleasant it is. It's so weird. It's awe. That's one of the forms of awe. Anyway, so you have your attention in that sense, and this is where you get spoilers, and spoilers can be in that way. I feel like I lost track of something. It might be a relevant note if spoilers actually would spoil the art. Um, when I was in school at Georgia Tech, I believe they have a program. You pay $20 and you can get a season pass for the Atlanta Symphony. So I went to the symphony every week for a very long time while at school, and I thought that was amazing. I loved it so much, and as a part of that, I started to learn about classical music, and one of the things that people who listen to classical music and go to the symphony often do is that they listen to the music before they go. And so they'll be familiar. They'll listen to multiple different recordings before they go listen to it live, so that there's no surprises. You don't want to be distracted by surprise, first of all. You also want to be able to hear you want to be able to hear what the conductor and what these particular performers are doing, if they're doing something in particular different or special with this recording or with this performance. So you want to be familiar with the work, and then you also want to be able to follow the work. I mean, there's a whole thing about being able to understand what part of the work that you're in. That's not as relevant what I'm talking about now, but all of that is you want to be familiar with it, and so there's no spoilers. Like the whole concept of spoiling doesn't even make any sense because you know what's going to happen. You listen to the work, and you're not at the performance for novelty or for surprise. You're there for something else, and you don't be you get away from that distraction of the surprise so that you can get to the beauty of in the other ways. It also might be relevant that I just don't like surprises personally. I don't know. Maybe it's just a personality trait. I don't know.